Sekiro Shadows Die Twice wins Game of the Year at the Game Awards. Apex Legends is getting an esports league with a prize pool of $3 million. Twitch has been sued by a Russian internet company for 2.1 billion euros. And Ninja will be streaming Fortnite with none other than Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill. But first, do you have to complete a game in order to fully enjoy it? This is Arcadian Insight. Okay, welcome to episode number 42 of Arcadian Insight. Before we start today, just a special announcement, special guest. So we have Kevin with us today, aka Skelly, aka Skeleton Man, aka Quality Not Guaranteed, a man of many names.
A man of many names, none of them consistent.
He's going to be joining us every week from here on out, so you better get used to him. If you don't like him, I guess we'll see you never. I think we're really excited to have him around. But Kevin, feel free just to say hello to the listeners and just plug your streams and talk about what you do.
Yeah, well, hey everybody. First off, thanks guys for having me here. Thanks for inviting me. I'm super excited to be a part of this. And for any of you listening, I am, as he said, a man of many names. I do streaming under the name The Great Skeleton Man over on Mixer. I do some YouTube video reviews and stuff like that, which I'm excited to be doing more in the future with the Arcadian guys. It's a lot of fun. In my professional life, I'm a project manager, so I'm hoping to bring all those skills to this, and I'm excited because I've always been a fan of the show. So that's basically it. But thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No, we're really excited. I think we're gonna have a great show. I think the topic today is pretty good. I liked it when I wrote it. At least I hope you guys did too.
I would hope you like your own topic.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, if I didn't like it, if I didn't like it, would be in trouble. But the topic is: do you have to complete a game in order to fully enjoy it? And the reason that I chose this today is we're coming to the end of the year here. I was looking at my Steam backlog, thinking, man, like I have a ton of fucking games that I have not played. When you get on social media, you have all the people that are always talking about, like, man, like I gotta complete my Steam backlog. I have so many games that I've purchased that I just have not played. I feel like I have to get those done before I can purchase a new game and enjoy that. And I've always been in the line of thinking that, like, I really don't like that approach. I think that in my mind, I just think that you should just play things whenever you're having enjoyment of them. I don't think that you should have to complete them. But do you think that it's necessary to go back and complete games if you're not finding enjoyment? Do you think that you have to complete games fully all the time? What's your take on this?
I think ever since like the advent of Steam, this the answer to this question has probably changed for me. I think in the past, when I went to like GameStop and bought a video game and brought it home, I played it and generally played it to completion. Something about having like that physical copy, like sitting there staring at you from across the room, maybe is a little bit different than how convenient your Steam library is and how easy it is to just stockpile video games and let them, I guess, essentially waste away on your backlog. I mean, I have a Steam library of like 100+ games, and I've probably only played like 40 of them for over an hour. That is, I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
I think there's something to be said for what you just said. Like, when you buy a game physically, generally speaking, you're buying it, especially as a kid or a teenager, right? You're buying it. You don't have any other new games. You don't have unlimited expendable income, and buying a new game, that's going to be your entertainment value for a while. So you buy Halo, you play the campaign 30 times, you play multiplayer for months, and then finally you have enough money and you go buy something else like Skyrim, and then you play that to death, because I agree. I played games so much, one game, until it was burnout for me as a kid, and now I don't do that. And I think I also kind of agree with Matt in that, for example, I've been working on this video for a review of Outer Worlds, and one of the things is I actually haven't hit the very end of the game, and I don't know if I will, because I have plenty of good things to say about it, but I've reached a point where I go, anything from here is just story. I've experienced everything the game has to offer mechanically and experience wise that isn't just dialogue or something like that. And someone could argue, well, then why are you reviewing it? And I'd say, well, that's why. It's because I feel like at this point, there's nothing new to see except to critique the ending of the story, which I could. But, you know, if someone's looking for a review, they're looking for should they buy it, not the conclusion of the plot.
Right.
Yeah, with the Outer Worlds, I played about 5 to 6 hours of it, and I put it
Mhm.
down. And I've decided I put it down for good. Actually, it wasn't my favorite. It's fine. Like from a quality standpoint, I think that it's fine. I can see why people like it, but it did feel a little bit standard to me, a little bit shallow. There was no risk taking. It was very, very safe. I thought a very safe title. A lot of reused assets throughout the game. I thought the leveling up perks were weak. I thought they were standard as well. And there's just so much more out there to play. I can hop on TFT and have a great time. Like I don't need to play the Outer Worlds, and I don't think that I would critique it for playing 5 hours, but I will say that I didn't like it, and I probably would not recommend it to others on just based on that fact.
They just announced the DLC for it too. What a shame.
Did they? I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I will say, like, while I was playing it, I was like wanting to play it. Like I kept coming back and being like, oh, I want to go home and play this game. I want to go home and stream this game. I may finish it because I have one guy, a viewer, who always pops in and goes like, "You gonna finish Outer Worlds?" And I'm like, "Oh man, okay, for you. You always ask." So
you have to give the people what they want. I mean, that's like the first rule.
But I don't want to. I want to come home and be a bastard in Sea of Thieves. You know, I don't want.
Yeah, I get that.
I want to go like kill someone's ship and take their stuff. I don't really want to listen to Parvati have an uncomfortable love story.
When you were talking about the completionist, like finishing a game, playing the campaign over and over when you were a kid, the last game that I did that with was Dark Souls 1. That was the last game that I played through and like got every weapon. I played through it 7 or 8 times on the same playthrough in order to accomplish that feat. Every other game after that, I don't think I've ever like gotten all the achievements. I mean, I've beaten games since then, obviously, but never anything where I played the game like over and over and over and over. Divinity Original Sin 2, I've played a lot, but I've never even beat it. But I played the first 2 acts 25, 26 times probably.
I've seen that with a game where you play the first part of it and then you set it down and then like have 6 months, a year later, you just pick it back up and do the first part again. It's like me and Stalker. I think I never make it past the first few sections, but I constantly bring it back and play it again a year later, you know?
I don't know if Matt's ever finished a game. I think the only
well, Sekiro.
The only evidence.
Sekiro was the last one I finished.
Yeah, let's go look at your Steam achievements.
I was there when he beat Reach, so and BioShock Infinite. So
I remember we had like a whole group for BioShock Infinite. It was like a whole viewing party as we played through that game.
So he has beaten 2 games.
Yeah, Griff. He has beaten Griff.
Yeah.
Griff.
Griff.
I haven't beaten Griff.
There's evidence of it on the YouTube channel.
No one beats Griff.
Nobody beats Griff. Beats you.
I keep interrupting Wolf. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Well, this idea of like just replaying the same few hours of a video game, specifically the beginning of a game's like I've done that with Baldur's Gate 2 probably 50 times as well, but I'm still enjoying the game, and I haven't seen the ending of that game, and I've played to the last. I think I've played to the last fight in Divinity 2 like 5 or 6 times, but just never did it because by that point I don't care anymore about that like part of the game. It's just the weirdest thing. Like I completely enjoy everything I've done up until that point, but do I really need to see the ending anymore? And I don't know what that is. Back in the day, I would say that was the being a kid, that was the only game I had, and not the only game I've had, but one of the few games I'd have, and I'm gonna beat it. Like that's how it was. Now it's just there's like so many other video games pulling you in different directions. Just like, am I really gonna get the most gratification by beating the last fight in Divinity 2? I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna go play some TFT now. So this can always wait. It's not going.
It's always TFT. It's always TFT.
And I think like a really important point is like we were kids, like Skelly was saying earlier, or Kevin. Sorry, I don't.
You're fine. Call me whatever you want, bro.
just call whatever.
But like when like Wolf kind of touched on it, Kevin touched on it. Like when we were younger, like the ability to access games was like a little bit harder.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You couldn't just like turn on your computer and download something as much. Like it was more like go to the store and buy the physical copy of it. You know, you weren't really downloading as much back in the day. So it was like it took like a concerted effort. I mean, it's not that hard to get in the car and like go pick something up or have your parents take you there, but it was just like you had like there was more barriers to get different games. Like you couldn't just have them at a moment's notice. Like now, you know what I mean? You're like, I want to play this game. You can download it right now.
Yeah, and not to get like nostalgic and like not make sense, but there's something about like going out and buying it and owning it where you kind of care about it more. It feels more real to you. Like when it takes you a second to get something, you don't value it.
Okay.
Whether you think you do or not, but you really don't.
Can I comment on that? Because I am in the issue right now where I've been buying presents for Christmas, right? I mean, look at my Christmas lights. There they are. I'm ready. I'm ready for Christmas. And I go to buy, I'm like, oh, you know what would make a great stocking stuffer for like a friend, like this kind of like card, right? And then there you go and you want to buy it. And it's like, oh, you want a digital download code? You buy it, you instantly get the code. And I'm like, no, I want the physical item. Oh, we don't sell that.
Oh, yep.
You know, you want to buy a physical game? No, we don't. You want to buy a PC game I want to buy a PC game for my girlfriend, right? It's a game that she really wants and I want to get it for her. It doesn't exist. Doesn't exist because it's not a console. You have to just buy the code, and I'm gonna have to be creative with a string of letters and numbers. There's something of innate value, like you said, about a physical item. And unless you're buying like a Wii game that doesn't even exist anymore, you know, even your Xbox games are downloaded.
I do buy Switch hard copies.
Yes, me too.
I do always buy the Switch hard copies, but it's like, you know, if I had to jump through a fucking flaming hoop to get a game, I'd play the shit out of that game, right? Because it's like, it's hard to get. Not that that has any bearing on anything, but it's like the harder it is to get something, the harder you have to work to get something, the more that you'll treasure it, like as you experience it.
Yeah, and like even now, like for me, because like I'm a big WoW guy and I always have been, but like when like now, like a new WoW expansion, it's like fucking pre-downloaded on your computer, and like at exactly 3 a.m. you can just barge in, and there's just like a million people. Like back in the day, like when like Burning Crusade come out, it was like you went to GameStop at midnight, picked up like your collector's edition or whatever, and then it was like the race back home to like install and like get in. And it was just like there was like you had that big build up and like that big like excitement to like finally get in, and now it's just like, oh, set my alarm for 3 a.m., roll out of bed, and the game's ready to go. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like there's not like,
and it's pre-installed before you even buy it. So it's actually just hit the $60 button to start playing, because they installed it ahead of time. It's in the base game files now.
You had to say that. That just makes me feel dirty now to like play games. But
I mean, it's true.
It's funny you said that, Dave. I have like fond memories of downloading Final Fantasy 11 on my computer like 60 times because, you know, I'd quit playing because my parents wouldn't let me use their credit card anymore on the internet. So it was like a monthly struggle. I'd be uninstalling, reinstalling all the time. But
yeah, or even like for me, like back in like the high school, college days, like Call of Duty. Like it was always like a big thing. Like Call of Duty was like a midnight release, so there's like a GameStop at Pitt, and like there'd be a line of fucking people all the way down the block, all the way around the corner. And like you had, you know what I mean? You had to get there like 2-3 hours early if you wanted a decent spot. And like everybody's talking and like hyped up. And like it just felt more like, you know, like more personal and more interactive than like now it's just like everything is like you just do it yourself at your computer. And there's not as much like intimacy or like human interaction.
My friend and I went and picked up Halo 3 ODST when it came out. At midnight in college, and I had a speech class, and I had a speech due. It was like you had to do like a how-to, and I made it how to pull an all-nighter, and we did like how to pull an all-nighter, and we beat the Reach or the ODST campaign that night, and like that was my presentation after the fact. It was perfect, great, best speech of my life. I think we got an A on it. But just like to keep going down this path, do you guys ever have regrets about not finishing a certain game? I mean, either just specifically or just generically, just feeling that you like have potentially missed out on a unique experience that you couldn't have gotten. And, you know, maybe you weren't enjoying the game up front, like with myself with Outer Worlds, but maybe if you would have finished it, you would have liked it more. Do you ever feel like, is there ever like that nagging, like, if I could have just gotten through a few of the shitty parts of a game, like I could have gotten the overall package?
Nothing comes to mind.
Not for not for me, because like if you're
Mhm.
playing it and it's a good game, you're gonna want to finish it. And if it's not a good game, then you're just like, okay, like you don't need to finish it. Like you don't feel the need to do it because you're not really enjoying it or whatever reason that it may be.
Right.
Yeah.
I could see people having this kind of regret with something like Death Stranding right now, just because the gameplay looks so boring. But people do like the story. I mean, I know, Adam, we've talked about like the story not coming together, but like I think there are people out there that really, really do think that the story is great. And if you can like get over those humps of gameplay where you're just like walking and not doing anything, like you might actually have a good
It's a
experience.
Strand game, Strand gameplay. You just don't understand it because you're American.
You
only know shooting game.
That's what it is.
You only know you're not like the French or the Italians.
It's a Strand game.
It's a Strand type game. That's
Alien
Strand gameplay.
Isolation is this for me. Like,
Okay.
I call myself like this mega Alien fan, and every Alien game that's come out since Alien Isolation has sucked balls, and then they finally come out with like a decent Alien game, and I can't even play it. Partly because it sends my anxiety through the roof. I shit my pants playing that game, but it is a well done Alien game.
I am scared of that game so much. Like Emerald and I, we stream horror games together once a week. Like that's our thing. And she goes, like, we should play that game. And I go, no, because you'll make me play it and you'll just sit there and then I'm gonna shit myself.
I'd make for an exciting stream.
No. I am afraid of that game.
The AI they installed onto that Alien is, I think, second to none in a lot of games. I mean, even Outlast, I mean, is pretty impressive, but like, it would learn how you'd play. Like, if you sat there and hid in lockers constantly, like, he'll never find me in the locker, you know? It learns that you go to the lockers and checks the lockers. You know, so you'd have to switch up.
I hate that. I don't like. Thanks, I hate it.
Yeah, seriously.
That new Predator game looks awesome.
Well, that's
We'll
like
be playing that.
Daylight clone.
We'll be playing that, yeah. But another game that I have this type of regret with, and this is a little different because I've never played it, but No Man's Sky is a game that I think I would like to experience. And we've talked about how I don't like how the developers released it. That's a big reason why I don't actually want to play the game, because I feel like they burned a lot of their consumers with false marketing and false advertisement, which I'm not happy with. But the game now in its current state looks like a game that I would really enjoy to play, and I kind of regret like not experiencing it yet.
I'm sure Morgan would be going crazy. They just added an update where you can make your own music now.
I saw that. It's very cool. Very cool.
That's so cool. You know, I played it a little bit. My friend got it, and it was like super on sale one day on like Humble. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll grab it. And it was cool, and I had a little bit of fun, and I got to the planet he was on, and got past the tutorial, got to the planet he was on, got to his little house, did a little exploring around there, and then turned it off and never turned it back on. And I have nothing to say. Like, I couldn't be like, this was a bad experience. It wasn't a bad experience. I don't really. It kind of like, I guess, how you kind of felt with Outer Worlds. I just didn't step back into those shoes for. I guess it's like, if I'm gonna play something with my limited time, it's gonna be Sea of Thieves. So
yeah,
it's I just like with you guys say, like TFT. I could play it, but I'm gonna spend 5 hours, and I don't really feel any objective. Like, I really need to do any of the stuff that it's having me do. But it looks so cool, and I couldn't tell you that there was necessarily anything wrong with it.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys find yourselves beating games that like you really don't give a shit about in comparison to games that like you really thought you were gonna play the crap out of? Like, I just pounded out the first Spyro game at work last night, and like
at work, he says,
and I'm like, I can't even sit down and play. I just bought Baldur's Gate like 2 weeks before that. I can't play through Baldur's Gate, but like. I beat the shit out of Spyro, but it's like, I don't get it. I don't understand why I tend to beat these games that, like, at the Forest. I beat the Forest. How many people can say like, "Oh, I beat the Forest"?
I did.
Like,
not me.
Like,
yeah,
my friends and I like. Yeah, like I actually didn't know until they announced the other day that the Forest was getting a sequel. That you could beat the forest and that the game was done. Like, I didn't know that, because my friends and I, what we did is for like a month, all we did was log in after work and begin deforesting to build our island resort. There's a small island off the coast that the cannibals can't swim to. And so we were just deforesting, dropping them off the cliff, putting them on the raft, going to the island. And we built this massive like resort with like a lighthouse and all this stuff. And, you know, why beat the game when you can live in luxury?
Perfect. It sounds like you did kind of beat it, just in your own way.
Yeah, sure. Objectively, I guess you could call it beating it.
You go into it and it seems kind of steep and like it's a challenge. Like, how am I going to beat this? And then, but like our buddy Chimp and I beat it in like 2 nights. Like,
Really?
It wasn't difficult at all. Yeah. So if you were to just like beeline for like all the story elements, you know, you find the pictures or the books and you just go through the caves, you're like done immediately. And all you need is the katana. So it's just like,
yeah, it's best
get the katana and you're like, all right, let's go fight the end boss. You know, so it's.
Can I just tell you guys a funny story from the forest? This is like my favorite story to tell. I'm playing with my 3 friends, John, Mike, and Francisco, right? They're the crew, right? We always play these games. And John desperately wanted to make stuff out of bone. He just so desperately wanted to make stuff out of bone. So we had killed a bunch of cannibals and we needed to get bones. And we said to ourselves, how do you get bones? So Francisco says, well, you get bones when you eat them. And I was like, So they all excitedly jump up and start cooking limbs and, you know, hands, arms, legs. And I tried to do it like once. And I was just like, this isn't for me. I don't need bone equipment. And they're just sitting there going like, just like eating like human flesh to get bones. And and this is what blows my mind. We look in my statistics. My sanity has gone down to like a 40. And theirs is like at 80 something. And they've been the ones that's been eating flesh. I don't know what the game was like. So we just imagine there's one guy just standing there like, as his friends are just like, human.
Too strong of a moral compass.
Later, I threw a body on Later, I threw a body on a fire, and it, you know, and then it instantly burst into bones, and everyone was just like, "Oh."
Yeah, I was actually going to say that. I was like, can't you just throw them on the fire pit? No, just,
We didn't look up anything. By the end of that game, we had like the lowest strength physically possible. We survived exclusively off of berries and were somehow 400 pounds, but could run like Kenyans. So we just imagine the news article, you know, 400-pound emaciated fat man found living on Cannibal Peninsula. On an island resort.
Yeah, with a lighthouse and a yacht.
Yeah.
Made out of wood.
Oh, the realism of survival games.
Right. Well, that's the problem. They try too hard to make it realistic, and then they try to make a nutrition system and like a strength system and end up just breaking it because it doesn't make any sense. You
lifted too many Scum down.
Yeah, you guys were kind of excited about Scum for a bit, weren't you? And it just ended up not being what you expected.
Yeah, it was, you know, age-old DayZ fan. Scum was like really attractive, and then we bought it. And I ran around, and as soon as I got to the first basin, there was giant robots walking around. So for the first time ever that I didn't approve of giant robots walking around, I returned.
Yeah, this is very unlike you.
I was like, fuck this, dude. I'm running around with a stick. There's a robot with a machine gun. Look, how am I supposed to loot this place?
No. Obviously, you're supposed to stab them in the heart and take their bodies as your own.
Yeah. All the while, there's like another naked guy throwing rocks behind you, and you're like, dude, I'm trying to fuck with this robot right now, man. Like,
some Kenyan behind you.
Yeah.
Some 400-pound emaciated Kenyan.
I tell you what, we're on the subject of survival games, and I think maybe Wolf might have dabbled with this a little bit, and maybe Matt, but for a while, I know Ben did. Everybody got on a Reign of Kings kick.
Oh man, yeah.
And I remember the talk of the town was like, make sure you got your butt rock. Make sure you got your butt rock, guys. You know, because you could hide that rock in the hidden pocket.
Yeah.
And tie yourself out of like somebody captures.
Yeah, you could cut your ropes. Yeah.
With your hidden rock. I don't know this game, but I like it already.
Reign of Kings. That's a weird game.
It was pretty goofy. I wouldn't recommend.
It's a shitty version of Rust with swords.
Oh, okay.
Seems like the underlying theme here. Maybe like games today are just a little too ambitious. Like they try to do these like really grand things like Scum and stuff. It's just like to be so in depth and like great. And it's going to be these like, you know, in the forest, like this like amazing post-apocalyptic world. You're going to fight these like savages, or it was the same with like Rust and Reign of Kings and everything else. And even just like generic RPGs anymore, that it just feels like they're just trying to go in so many like different directions that I feel like nobody ever really nails anything down where they get you engaged. Like when I fully enjoy a game, you know, they really only have to do probably 2 or 3 things like really well. Like older games that I liked, like I don't know, like Final Fantasy VII, I liked it a lot. Like it, the story was really good to me, and the music was, for the time, it was really good, and that was it. The combat wasn't great, and you know, obviously the graphics weren't amazing or anything like that. But that's, I fully enjoy playing through that game, and I still do today. Whereas now it's like they can't focus on anything and make it great.
They can make a hallway.
It does seem like games kind of have like an identity crisis right now, just because everybody's just taking bits and pieces of successful games, and they think like, oh, well, this game did this really well and people really like that, so we're going to implement that into our game, even though like it might not be necessary. Instead of just having a vision for the game up front and following that, it's more like a piecemeal put together product of successful things in other games, and sometimes less really is more. I mean, look at Minecraft. That's a game that, especially upon release, the alpha version really didn't have much, but it's the best-selling game of the decade.
I have to admit, like, rarely Emerald and I will play Minecraft instead of a horror game, and she was completely like, I don't understand it, and I'm like, whatever, we'll just play it. And then at first she was like, I don't know what to do, I'm done. And now she'll be like, okay, we'll play till midnight. So 3 a.m. rolls around, you know, and she's still working on making the perfect beach.
It's really funny. It's really funny. So, but that's Minecraft. Right. That's like Minecraft in a nutshell, yeah.
It's simple,
there's
but
said.
It does it like perfectly. It's one of those games that it's not going anywhere anytime soon. But that can't
this is kind of
for. Oh, I'm sorry. Like a Strand game, you know, Strand gameplay.
A Strand game,
gameplay.
This is kind of an odd question, but I thought of this while just writing the outline today, and it kind of piqued my interest. At what point do you feel that you've experienced an online multiplayer game or a live service model game to its fullest potential? Like, is there ever a point where you can reasonably say that you've experienced everything that you can get out of the game and that you can move on from it, like thinking, okay, I never really need to play this again, I've done everything that I can? And just like for an example, like we've played a lot of League, I've played a lot of League, and I've probably only played about a quarter of the champions ever, maybe even a little bit less than that. But I feel personally that I've pretty much experienced what League has to offer. Like, I don't need to play League anymore. I know what it's about. I've played enough games that I feel like I just kind of get it.
You can experience
I don't know if you guys would agree or not, but
you can experience a lot of those other characters through your opponents. You know, you don't have to necessarily have to play them.
Yeah, that's true. I think for me, considering like I know like you guys definitely play more like single player and like campaign or story related things than me. I'm more of a multiplayer. Like I thrive on the competition of games. Like that's my personal like reason why I'm like into games. So for me, this question, it's like kind of hard to answer, because like you can play, you know what I mean? Like I can play League and like I really like it, and then like at some point during the patch, I usually am like, okay, like I've experienced this patch, I'm kind of over it. But then when a new patch comes and like things change and meta shift and certain things are stronger and certain like things are weaker, then I feel like I have to go back and play it and figure out what's going on again. Then once I figure it out, then I'm like, okay, then I can, you know, I can put it away and go play WoW, and then I can play WoW for this patch for a couple months, and then okay, now I'm satisfied, and then I leave WoW for a little bit, and then I go play Hearthstone when the new expansion comes out, and I play that for a couple months, and then okay, I'm satisfied with it, and then I go, you know, to TFT or wherever. That's kind of how I do it. I kind of jump around based on like the new update or the new mode or whatever you want to call it, until it's played out, and then wait for the next one.
I think it's interesting hearing you sort of both sort of perspectives on it, because I think for me, That's a question I would have trouble answering as a broad category. There are so many online games, and to me, it's all a very different experience. Like if I'm playing an MMO, um, the time at which I've experienced everything there is to experience that is reasonable, right? Like, I mean, if I'm playing WoW and I'm not part of any guild, I'm really not going to experience 40-man raiding. But um, if I was to say, like, when am I done with WoW? When am I done with Final Fantasy 11, Final Fantasy 14? When am I done with Star Wars Galaxies? It's around the time when there is nothing left for me to do of any interest. You know, again, because I'm not going to 40-man raid, or if I am 40-man raiding, it's when we run out of raiding to do, when we've done everything we want to do. On the other hand, if I were going to talk about, say, a competitive game, I like competitive games. It usually what kills them for me is over tweaking. They go to a point where either they keep adding stuff or they keep tweaking stuff because of the meta of the top 1% of players, which makes the middle tier of casual players that I consider myself part of have a little less fun. And so I stopped playing. That's what happened with me with like Overwatch. Or what happened with a lot of Call of Duties. You know, I play it, I'm having fun. Then there's those people who play it 9 hours a day. The matchmaking system is non-existent, so I'm playing against them as someone who casually plays on the weekend. They no-scope me through their asshole while around a corner, and I'm not having a good time, so I stopped playing it forever. But like League of Legends, for example, I've put that game up and down since it was released. And most recently, I find myself playing it a lot because I picked up jungling. I find it very mentally engaging. And I don't know if I could say if I would get bored very fast. So it's sort of a complicated question because it's based on the sort of the type of game. I've been playing a ton of Sea of Thieves. And even though at this point, I could arguably say, okay, well, I've adventured the map. I know what's going on. Really, you're just grinding cosmetics. But then my friend goes, hey, want to play Sea of Thieves? And I go, yeah. And then we play, you know?
That's how I am with my games. It's like I start in addition to Alien Isolation, I'm sad to say that I've never beaten The Witcher. So, but I'll buy these games. Oh, it's a great game, and then like a week later, you know, everybody's back on stupid fucking Rust or something. So it's like, oh, download Rust, you know, and then your focus switches. Like I can't stick to a game. Like,
well, yeah, you're
like
more of like
all.
a social gamer, Josh. Like you'll just play whatever is trending or like whatever like your friends are playing. It seems like, yeah.
That's not a bad thing. I think
No,
I don't think so.
The things for me, especially with multiplayer games, is maybe I don't know, to try and tackle this issue. No, I like the way you put it, Kevin. You were saying that, you know, there's a different way to answer this depending on the game and the genre and different things like that. But maybe the underlying thing for me is maybe the mystery to the game. You know, that kind of piques your interest, and it's, I guess, it doesn't matter the genre as much, I guess, in that sense. You know, personally speaking, you know, a game like TFT where I can play more than a handful, you know, several dozen games after a patch comes out until I realize, okay, only like 2 builds can win in this. Like this isn't a mystery to me anymore. I understand the game to this degree. I'd say League of Legends, it does something similar for me. Like I understand like the interactions between the champions and you know how a game plays out and things like that, where I'm just, it's not a mystery to me anymore. Why am I bothering to do this? I know the answer to these questions. It's just the you know, if I'm not excited to get that competitive, you know, aspect, you know, am I competing against somebody else? Which most of the time I really don't care too much about that. I just want to do what I want to do in these online games.
And in addition to that, I feel like I also have a personal skill limit that is ever present, and I'm always approaching it. And when I hit it for too long, and I get like hard stuck in ranked, and I know that I can't put the time in to get better, just due to work and just, you know, Arcadian, whatever I'm doing, family, friends. That's about like when I start to lose interest in a game as well. Because once I've peaked with how much time that I can put into it, I start to feel like maybe I should just move on to something else, unless I'm just playing with friends. But that's kind of like where I peak.
I do want to comment on one thing Wolf said, was that the mystery, I find that that's true. Any game that has is sort of adventure based, whether it's single player or like multiplayer or online, around the time where the game stops feeling like there's something to discover or figure out is around the time I stop playing it. And that's not every game, right? So some games, like certain competitive games, I play them because I sort of want that competitive experience, that thrill of just competing against another human and making their day less enjoyable. And like those ones I'm not concerned about an adventure, but I do know that. I know that feeling. That's like Stalker for me, right? Like you go into it like, oh, what is this mystery? I don't know anything, and that's really engaging. So I know that feeling. When you said that, it really clicked for me. So I just wanted to comment on that.
I think go ahead, Josh.
Let's just say, do you ever find yourself just enjoying more games as a viewer than you would playing them?
Yep, absolutely.
Like I could watch you guys play League, but like that doesn't mean I enjoy playing it. You know what I mean? I would much, I get more entertainment and pleasure out of watching somebody play League than I do playing League.
Yeah.
And that's for a lot of games, not just League.
Especially with like esports and like competitive scenes now. Like when you can watch the people that are the best at the game, like by opening your Twitch browser, bringing it up on your iPad while you're laying in bed or whatever. And like you can watch the highest level of play and like how they interact and how it goes. And like if you know about the game and you're interested in the game, it's really entertaining thing to watch. And like I've noticed that myself with League. Like there'll be times where like I'm like just not playing League, like you go on your break from League, but I still like will follow the competitive scene or I'll watch LCS or something just because it's still like cool to watch like people compete at the highest level and like see what they're doing and like and I think Riot puts on a very good production for their esports. So it's like it's actually cool to watch, like even just like the production and how they like talk about everything and analyze and then go into the games and the draft and everything. I don't know. It's just like
I actually prefer to watch no commentary playthroughs on YouTube versus a Twitch streamer for like RPGs and story-driven games. I find myself watching those a lot more because I want to experience the game, but maybe I didn't want to buy it or I just don't have time to play another game. So I'll just watch those instead. And it kind of feels like I'm getting the game experience without like some fucking jabroni like giving me their insight into the game, which sometimes I do like a streamer there. I'm not saying I always don't, but if it's story driven, narrative driven, I want just the game. Like I don't want any opinion. I want to make my own opinion on it.
Like you could experience a game like I think I could probably fit into your, like if you didn't want to play Limbo, you could experience Limbo by just watching somebody play Limbo.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I find I get frustrated watching people play games like that. Then I just go like, no, right there. And like my girlfriend and I. So before we started doing the horror games together, back before I was even a streamer, we were out of things to watch on TV, so we used to start going on YouTube. And what we really got into was watching Markiplier play horror games. I don't, because it's the only genre of game I didn't play. I didn't play horror games at all. But otherwise, any other game, watching someone, I would actually rather be playing. Like if I'm watching the game, I'd actually rather be playing the game. And the exception of, because if I'm watching the game, I like it enough that I would want to be playing it. And the exception was horror. I didn't do it. And we watched so much of Markiplier play horror games, and we used to spend all day going like, Mark, you idiot. like
hey, Mark, like, wake up.
Right. No, really. We were like, Mark, oh my God, you're so bad at video games. Actually, there's a meme in the house now, because now when we stream horror games, all of my friends, they'll watch. Because we used to all sit and watch these horror games together on the couch. So now they watch us instead. And I'll always go into the bathroom and I'll go, hold on, guys. Markiplier taught me, always go in the bathroom. Because that's what he does. In every horror game, if there's a bathroom, he will thoroughly pick through it.
It's really funny. It's really, really funny.
Like if I ever meet him, and I hope one day I do, I want to ask him, what's with you in bathrooms? Like, because that's what he does.
He must think there's some hidden treasure in there or something.
I mean, the only thing I found in the bathroom in Prey was a mimic that attacked me. So,
I heard great things about Prey. Did you like it?
Oh yeah, we had a lot of fun. We just finished it a couple nights back. And yeah, it was really good. It had just the right level of action, puzzle, mystery, and RPG. And it was really, really a good time. I really like it. We haven't played the Moon Crash DLC yet, but we did really enjoy it. And I could go on, but I'm not going to like sit here for 30 minutes giving you my review.
If you like BioShock, Matt, you'll like Prey.
Yes,
yeah, well, that's what
absolutely.
I always read, and I feel like I would love Prey. Yeah, I'll have to play it.
It's very System Shocky in the experience.
If you
no, it's fine. Go ahead.
I was just I experienced a similar thing with, I guess, what you do with Markiplier. I watch a guy does this channel called The Outer Middle Show, and he does all these horror games, and I find myself enjoying him watching horror games, but like I get too invested in a game that like it stresses me out. Like I can't play horror games so much. Like even Dead by Daylight, if I go against the Hag on Dead by Daylight, I quit. Like I can't. Like it's so
I could share with you.
You
like,
can't,
I went
you
and bought,
can't
like,
even. Yeah.
I wish I could show you the other night, dude. Like my girlfriend loves Dead by Daylight. She loves it. And the other night we finished playing what we were playing, which wasn't a horror game, and we still had time. I was like, okay, I don't want to play this anymore. And she's like, well, let's play Dead by Daylight. And I'm like, please don't. I can't play a survivor in that game, man. It gives me so much anxiety.
I can't play against Freddy. It gives me the creeps, man. And you can't see him, and the song starts playing, man. It's like, get me out of this game.
I like playing the killer. I like being a bad person, but I don't like being the
Hag sets those traps.
Yeah.
So we were playing this one time. We were playing on like the Saw level. We were in the meat warehouse or whatever.
Of course, yeah.
And she put these traps running the whole way down this hallway, and I was the only one left, and it was Phil and Chimp and I still playing, and I was running down this hallway, and I ran into every single one of those traps, and every time I was like, ah! My brother actually came upstairs and was like, what the fuck are you playing? Because I was yelling and screaming the whole time, and I like after that I can't play against the Hag anymore. But I bought Wick. Just to get back to the Outer Middle thing. I don't know if you ever played or watched Wick.
No, I haven't.
And I was like, oh my god, this is hilarious, and I want to play this watching this guy. And I got on it, played about 5 minutes, scared the piss out of me, and I never touched it again. I uninstalled it.
It really scared you? Scared you that much?
I just get like too invested, and I'm like,
what kind of game is it?
You carry around this candle, and as the candle burns down,
it does sound scary.
I hate that. I hate it already.
You have to look for another candle, and then like as you find that like all these candles, like it'll just be a flicker, and like, oh, there's a candle in this direction, and as it goes down, it gets darker. So you're sitting there watching this candle burn down, and there's this little kid with this mask chasing you around, yelling and screaming. Every time you turn around, he's like, and you're just like,
I don't like it.
Come on, candle. Don't go out on me, candle, please. You know.
So I agree. That's a game I would watch someone play, but I would not play that. That sounds like anxiety central. Like, give me a heart attack. No, thank you.
So yeah, but even Dead Space gave me a hard time. Like I even had a hard time.
Dead Space was scary up front. I remember experiencing it. You kind of got used to the jump scares and the tactics after a while, but
it wasn't scary for me anymore when you realize that the only place they come out of is vents. If there's nothing around and you don't see them laying on the ground, they're going to come out of the vent. So just look for the vents.
I think
just ruin the game for me.
To wrap up today, just this conversation, and we kind of hit this already, but just to reiterate and ask it again, how do you play games currently? Do you find yourself ever sitting down and just playing one game in its entirety and not switching off to anything else, or do you find yourself always switching? And if you have sat down and just played one thing recently to completion, what was that game and what made you do that?
The nature of the way I play games doesn't let me do that, because I do something on Fridays with Emerald, and then other days I play.
Right, because your streaming schedule, yeah.
Right. So unfortunately, no, actually. I would like to say it was true. I think the only time I did even something equivalent of that was the Outer Worlds. I did like 3 streams in a row of that because of my stream schedule, and then we had to cancel Friday because she wasn't feeling well. But like, other than that, I don't think I've done that, because I have a different game that I play on different nights for different reasons, like a competitive game, a multiplayer game, a horror game. But I kind of miss that, actually. I do kind of miss like having a game and being like, I want to play this game. Red Dead. Red Dead Redemption 2. That is the last game that I did not play anything else in between, except for maybe like my friend saying, "Hey, want to play like 3 matches of Overwatch or something at the time."
Right. Which I mean, like, yeah, that doesn't really count. I mean, like, because sometimes like I'll switch back and forth in the middle of campaigns and games.
Mm-hmm.
The last games for me, like in indie games, I'll play all the way through. Like Gris and Outer Wilds, like they're shorter. I will play those all the way, but like a single player AAA game, like a 20 to 25 hour, I have trouble playing that all the way.
Actually, that's a good point. I didn't consider that because we play a lot of indie horror games on Fridays, and we rarely have to play multiple nights in a row. Like we played Observer.
You'll beat it right then. Oh yeah, Observer. Yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah, it was really good, but it was one night. Like I was actually surprised. I was like, oh, it's 2 a.m. and we're done. Oh, okay.
I was watching Observer and getting like motion sickness while I was watching it.
Really?
Oh, you're all over the place. Yeah, it's like, or maybe it was just. I was watching JDB play it, so maybe he was just a little bit too erratic with the game.
That's probably it.
Yeah,
it was good. It was a good game.
I have an issue. I binge games a little bit too hard, I think. Like I'll pick up
I'm kind of jealous of that.
Really, man, it's not a good habit. I can't beat anything.
Like you're having fun.
What, like 3 Kingdoms?
Yeah. I'll play it until like, until I can't look at it anymore. But usually it's not. It's usually not. Usually it's not such a long time. Like a game like 3 Kingdoms, I mean, you really can't like beat the game. It's just like you could beat the campaign, but I don't know. It's such like a high replay. But like I don't know. Like Witcher, I think like I binged that too hard and got burnt out. Like it's just not a game you can beat in a couple sittings, and I just could never pick it up again because of that.
So you got burnout. The problem is that you play it so hard that you get burnout,
right?
And then you can't pick it back up. I guess I get that. Yeah.
And when I do pick it back up, I can never start from like the last game I was playing. Like I got to start over. Like if it's Skyrim or even something like that, like I can't be playing the same guy again. Like
especially after you played like you played it a year ago, and now you're like picking it back up, and you're like, I don't want to play this same guy. If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna start from the beginning, and then you do the same damn thing. You play it like 20 days in a row, then you go, I hate this damn game. I never want to see it again. Uninstall, and then you do it again next year.
I mean, I've never beaten Skyrim. I've played probably 300 plus hours into that game, and just I've probably done everything else you can do in it except beat the main storyline.
Well, that's the thing. The main storyline is like 3 nights worth of gameplay. The rest of the game is what actually matters. You know that I don't think you're missing out by doing that. Like you scream at a dragon, and then hang out in Valhalla for a little bit. Great job. That's far less interesting than assassinating people for some clown's pleasure.
I'm gonna say the last game I played the whole way through without a break is probably fucking Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail, you mean? Not Oregon
Trail.
Yeah, it's a
yeah. Okay. Just to clarify.
I knew what he meant, but I immediately thought of him binging, just like, oh, I've got dysentery.
Yeah.
Better work on that.
I was forced to play through it too. It got to the point at the end where I was like, these guys didn't have to listen to the music we recorded. I'm sitting here listening to this 8-bit music for like 2.5 hours.
That took a few years. That took a few years off your life. You would have hit 1,000 yards there.
That was terrible.
That and Metro Exodus was the one I played through with undivided attention. Besides that, I can't think any.
This is kind of a weird question, but do you feel that if you were forced to complete a game that you really didn't want to, just because you felt like you had to complete it, like if your enjoyment was done with it after 10 hours, but you played it for 20 just to beat it, do you feel like that actually ruins your outlook of the game in the long term? Like I feel like for me, I would probably positively look at it, or I would look at it more positively in the future, and like looking back at it from an experience standpoint, just because I didn't have to play it for that 10 extra hours.
So wait, can you ask that question again?
Yeah. Do you ever feel that, in so far as actually stopping playing a game when you're burnt out on it without completing it? Because I feel like people do complete games just because they feel they have to nowadays. Whereas I feel that you should just play them to your enjoyment level. Then once you're done, you can just be done. Do you feel that you can, if you do stop playing them when your enjoyment level is complete, can you look back at them more positively because you weren't forced to play that extra 10 hours at the back end?
I'd say yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I did that with Final Fantasy 13. I pushed through it. And
My condolences.
I never want to. Yeah, I never want to look at the fucking game again.
Did you say Final Fantasy 15 or 13?
13.
Oh, 13. Did
15
you beat 15?
was bad too. Yeah, actually, I did that with 15 as well. I think, and
at least 15 wasn't a hallway simulator.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, but I mean, 13. I don't know. Had some substance to it, I guess, even though it was all incredibly obnoxious.
I hated it the whole way through. I thought it was absolutely like abysmal trash that like someone was just like they just made some, they took Cloud, they made 30 characters that was Cloud, and then they just built some hallways, added some textures, invented a really shitty combat system, and they really like cars. You know, that was my experience. It's like, I like robots. There's a main character and some lesbians. Enjoy. Like the best character, the best character with the best backstory is also statistically the worst goddamn one. Like Saz. I love Saz. And like, I'm sorry, I could rant. I hated that game. Like I hated it so much.
I have nothing to add, unfortunately. Yeah.
I legitimately, I think I got to the part where we get just past, we get the second lesbian and her version of Bahamut, which is a jet plane, and I said I hate this and I don't want to play anymore, and I never picked it back up.
I'm having a hard time remembering that.
Let it be a gift to you that you don't remember. Let it be a gift.
I had to push that one out of my mind pretty hard.
Yeah. Ignorance is bliss.
The best part of that game is the best part of any Final Fantasy game, which is Gilgamesh.
Yeah.
Did you know that canonically in Final Fantasy lore, every version of Gilgamesh is the same Gilgamesh, except the one in 11? So, because the one in 11 is just a dude. He's the guy in Norg, right? And it's just an old man. But technically, Gilgamesh, though he looks different in every game, he exists in the Rift, which is the world between all the Final Fantasy like multiverse, and he travels it looking to collect swords, which is why he carries swords from other Final Fantasy games. It's supposed to be that he went to there and stole the sword from someone.
Out of all the other summons, he's the only one that's...
Yeah, well, because in some games he's not a summon. Sometimes he's an antagonist. Sometimes he is... sometimes he's a summon, like you said. Sometimes he is like just like a side character. I'm 14. He's a boss and a quest companion. He's part of the series of Hildebrand quests, right? In 13, he's an antagonist. I think in 12, he was an antagonist that became. I
don't remember him in 12.
I don't remember. And then I can't remember which one it was, but one of my favorite quotes from him, he shows up from it and says, finally, I never thought you'd get to this part of the game and I'd be stuck in digital limbo. Like, I love that line. And he just pulls out a bunch of guns. He just, check these out, just pulls out a bunch of guns. And then halfway through gets annoyed and goes back to swinging swords. He's such a great character. Like, I love that because he's canonically the same guy. So it's a bit of a tangent, but I just love that one little piece of fact.
That's
about
cool.
Final Fantasy.
I never knew that.
Except for 11. There might be one other in like the 8-bit era that. Yeah, cool little thing.
All right, let's talk about a game that Matt needs to play and finish.
Oh, what's this?
I played it. Let's jump down to trending news. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is officially the game of the year according to the Game Awards. It won the title against Control, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, The Outer Worlds, Resident Evil 2, and Death Stranding. So we had a few conversations about this already prior. Kevin, I know that you weren't involved in those. But I think that, a lot of us had speculated that Sekiro actually might win this. It did end up winning, but I'd just love to hear your thoughts on really just this game winning, but also, just the Game Awards in general and just how you felt the presentation was.
Mine?
Anybody.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'm pretty. So I talked about this on the QC podcast a little bit, but I'm glad that Sekiro won. I am surprised because I was so sure that the masses were gonna like choose Death Stranding for everything. Like I was just like, well, the Strand type game is gonna win. But I'm really happy to hear that, even though oddly, I personally am not actually a big fan of Sekiro. Not because there's anything wrong with it. It's just not a game I was enjoying very much, which is due to my own personal taste. But I would like not have my own personal taste reflect on. I think it deserved to win. Like I'm happy. I'm happy that that's the case.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you weren't saying that Resident Evil 2 deserved to win game of the year.
Actually, as a rule, we avoided that. We were like, if it's like a remake, then no.
Right. Doesn't that seem like a pretty obvious like?
It had its chance already.
Right, it's a rule. Already. It should be a rule. I don't know.
What are we talking? No remakes in Game of the Year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. I came in at the right time. I completely agree.
Like, don't get me wrong, it's cool, but sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I thoroughly enjoyed every moment of Sekiro when it wasn't beating me into the fucking dirt. But I thought, like, okay, we had Dark Souls. If you want to include Demon Souls, we had Demon Souls, the Dark Souls trilogy. I thought Bloodborne was great. I don't know if that got Game of the Year or not, but I love the aesthetic, and like it seems like From Software just has like this great way of, even though the game for most people is just kind of, an uphill climb the whole way, like you still find yourself just like enjoying it, even though it's hard as fuck. It's like Cuphead, you just got to get through it. And that's like half of the enjoyment is when you're done. I think I'm pretty sure Matt was in the call when I beat Sekiro, and I was screaming like that.
I actually think that I was. Yeah, it was a good day. It was a great day for humanity.
When you look at that list of games that it was up against, I haven't played Sekiro, but I can look at it and tell it's a polished game. It looks good. I trust the reviews. I trust the gameplay. I've actually watched a lot of gameplay of it. Funnily enough, that's how I enjoy experiencing my video games anymore, watching other people play them. But just compared to the games it was up against, I just don't think any of them are technically should have been like in the running for.
I agree completely.
It's just sad.
I mean, just to say this, like, if you look at all of them, we have the Strand game, which is just a Kojima ejaculation, and then we have.
But we don't understand that though, so it's kind of hard.
Right, well, we're Americans, so we only understand shooting game.
Yeah.
Was stupid, but like the RE2. Well, I mean that's according to Kojima.
No, I'm just kidding.
Dumb Americans. But like so then you have Control, which didn't run, so I don't really know why it's in there. It's like, wow, this tech demo is really cool when you watch it. It doesn't run, so it's not a game, so it shouldn't be there. And then you got a remake. Don't get me wrong, I like Smash Brothers. I don't understand why it's up there. It's a Smash Bros game. They're good. They're good in the competitive scene, but it'd be like putting Soul Calibur up there. Is it really all that different? Is it really competing for an innovation? No, exactly.
The whole Control thing still, I know we've said it probably every time this topic comes up, but like I saw one ad for Control, never heard anything about it prior to that. It comes out and then all of a sudden it's in a nominee for Game of the Year. And to me, all it looked like was like, okay, this looks like what Skelly said is a good tech demo for an upcoming Star Wars game. Like, what the fuck is this?
It's better looking than any Star Wars game that I've seen come out in the past like 20 years. But I think the Epic exclusivity hurt it. I really do. People just write games off when that happens, and they like won't give it the time of day.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Because games shouldn't be, that's not like the devs. They're trying to get good money. They're trying to get a good rev share. They're trying to be safe. I mean, if I were a smaller dev, I would probably do the same thing.
You're baiting me. I'm not going to get into that, but you're baiting me.
Let's talk about Sekiro winning. I saw a lot of chatter on social media where people were saying that they didn't think that it should have won, and they actually saw it winning as more like a lifetime achievement award for From Software. and all of the Soulsborne successes they've had, and for Bloodborne being overshadowed by The Witcher 3 in 2015. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I think Witcher 3 deserved every award it got, even though I didn't play it. But I mean, it's like, look at just the sheer community around that game.
Yeah. I don't think it's wrong that, I mean, if that were true, right, a Lifetime Achievement Award, I'm not sure I'm insulted by that. Again, we talked about the category itself. It's not a powerful category.
Mhm.
We've got Why Is It Here Control. We've got our Strand type game. We've got, we list the whole thing. The competition is not exactly stacking up. And listen, I said this, you had stepped away for a second. It wasn't my game. Like, it didn't have what the other FromSoft games have that pull me in. And not for a moment would I actually say it's not a good game, though, because the mechanics are on point. The art style is fantastic. The music is phenomenal. The environment is very, very, like, I loved this. My favorite part that I played was, because I didn't finish it, was the giant snake. I loved that.
Yep.
I loved it so much.
Cool.
It was super cool. But mechanically, it wasn't my kind of game, and I just didn't. I played it for like 5 hours straight, and then I just didn't pick it up again. But it definitely was an excellent game, even if it wasn't my type of game. And I think that if you compare it to all the other games in that category, there's no reason why it shouldn't have won. That it's really not that surprising. So even if you want to call it a Lifetime Achievement Award, I'm sorry, but what's your argument for any of the others? I mean, the best one in that category after it, in my opinion, is the one that's also automatically disqualified for being what it is. Because I thought the remake was great, fantastic, but it's a remake.
I think it probably went Sekiro remake Strand game, and that's just not strong.
Not
yeah, it really
Worlds.
isn't strong.
I don't doesn't deserve it.
I don't even think the Outer Worlds should have even been close to that category.
Oh, really? It was that.
I think if the Outer Worlds quality wise really should have been in a top 6 category for Game of the Year, then the gaming industry is in big trouble, because that game does not deserve to be there.
I don't agree with you that it was a bad game. I really actually had a lot of fun with Outer Worlds.
It's just not a game that deserves to be in Game of the Year talks.
Agreed. Like, I guess what I'm saying is I want to defend this game that I actually think is pretty good, fun gameplay wise. But if you were to ask me to nitpick it, I could sit here for an hour and be like, well, there's this, and I could talk about where that weakness is. It's very obvious that someone at Obsidian, it was missing. I mean, Obsidian gave us New Vegas. What happened? I don't know. Looking into it, it looks like they have a lot of people working on Outer Worlds, wasn't working on other stuff, but absolutely not. It didn't deserve Game of the Year even slightly. You
think that maybe it's just because times are changing and technology's growing and games, we're used to just bigger scopes in games, that like maybe if Outer Worlds came out in place of Fallout 70 or Fallout New Vegas, you think it would have been the same quality? Like, I mean, we can't go back in time, but like,
I don't think so. I think that because if you look at it's not just the graphics or the mechanics or anything. It is, when you played New Vegas, there was a lot more going on, a lot more unique quest lines, unique experiences, and the game didn't summarize in up your hack and sneak skills, because there is a point in Outer Worlds where if you have upped those two, I did not level any combat skills, not once. Like, I got them to their first like 20, because that unlocks your like little passive ability, and then I never touched it again, and I could bypass 90% of the game. Oh, big quest line to go get this thing so you can get these pills so you can recruit this character. I just walked upstairs, hacked the door, and took it. Job done, because I had a billion hack, right? Like, I was at a point where I had a higher skill than the highest check in the game.
Well, and New Vegas had a personality to it.
Absolutely.
The Outer Worlds just seemed a little bit.
Well,
I mean,
Rick
it has
Sanchez
a good narrative, but
Quest.
And it just feels a little bit devoid of emotion to me. Parvati and the whole thing. I don't want to get into it, but
no, I agree.
From top to bottom, it seems shallow. But let's jump down to the next news story. So Apex Legends is getting an esports league with a prize pool of $3 million next year. It's called the Apex Legends Global Series, and it's going to consist of 4 majors throughout the year. The first 3 are going to pit 100 3-player squads against each other for a share of $500,000 per event. The fourth and final will feature the world's top 60 teams and a grand finale with a $1 million prize pool. So each of these tournaments will be based on squads accumulating points based on both kills and placement over successive rounds, which is something that we talk about very, very often. I'm excited to hear that. Once a squad earns enough points, match point is activated, and then the next win after that, after they have enough points, gives the squad an overall victory. So you have to get enough points to get to the match point, and then you have to win another game. So that you could have like rounds and rounds where you don't win, where nobody wins, which is pretty insane. Yeah. And there's no limit to how many matches this could take, as it took Team Solomid 11 rounds to win the preseason invitational. But I think this is really cool. I'm not a big Apex fan. I don't really play it. I'm not really even a big Battle Royale fan, but I think that it's good for the esports scene. I like to see it. Just more opportunity for people to get involved and win some cash.
It's funny that this article popped up following our conversation last week about, just the whole Battle Royale thing in the competitive scene. They're changing it up. It's not just going to be, well, I made it to number 1. We're the team that survived, Victory Royale, and they move on.
Right.
They're coming up with, what seems to be a half decent system. You got to earn the points, kind of eliminating or at least toning down that RNG factor that we spoke about last week.
So I guess my understanding, so the match point thing, it seems like a really cool concept. So it's obviously just based on, like your kill participation thing, and then where you place for the highest team to win. It does seem, I don't know, just that 11 rounds to win for TSM and the preseason invitational is a bit excessive. I'm saying, I mean, maybe in the earlier rounds it will be like more clear cut victors. I would just I'd hate to see it, be too short, but it also seems like this has the potential just to be incredibly drawn out and long if there's no team that's like better than anybody else and they're all roughly like, neck and neck.
I think there's an element of excitement that it could potentially add from a viewer perspective, because you don't know when it's going to end. But I agree. I mean, it's going to go 3 hours past when it's supposed to. I mean, that's not really that fun for a viewer. Yeah.
It's just not, it's not going to work, I guess, on several levels, casting and things like that. I think you'd have a lot of difficulties finding.
You'd have to swap out new casters.
Teams of casters, yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to have squads rolling in and out. It would be a real bitch, I think, to staff that.
I'm serious.
Event.
Yeah, that's that. No
security. You would have to be rotating.
No,
then you have holes in security. People could
probably not going to. They might not have a venue, right? Necessarily for all of those. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They didn't specify.
I can't say I have a strong opinion on this. I'm not a big fan of battle royales in general, and especially not Apex. I tried to get into Apex, but I'm just absolute trash at it. And it's just the format, the drop in. I've never been a big fan of like you die, you're dead, formats. I'm old school MLG, Halo, team deathmatch, stuff like that.
Me too, man. Preach it.
Yeah, that's my stuff, bro. And like because you die and then you like sometimes you'll be bad at the beginning of a match and then you learn something about your opponent and how they play and then you start outmaneuvering them and you end up winning, which just doesn't happen in a match with 100 players in it. And you get shot once from across the map and you die because some guy got lucky. He opened a box and Jesus was inside, so he sniped you. I just but I think this is an interesting sort of like change. I think I don't want to make a judgment on how it will turn out until we see the results, because I would assume with how much money they have that they've thrown a level of analytics into this to determine these rules. So my big thing is, seeing it once, seeing how it turns out. I mean, I'm not going to watch it. I don't hate myself, but I am going to see the conclusion.
Well, you're the new Apex specialist for Arcadian, man. You're going to have to watch
it. Oh, God, no. I will kill myself. Like I will commit Sudoku.
Yeah, I got some really bad news.
I will commit Sekiro. But like that the thing is I am interested to see how it turns out, because either they did their analytics right and they figured this out based on that data, or we're going to find out how dumb they really are. And I'm excited for either answer.
11
I think it'll be
rounds.
I'm actually excited to cover it to a certain extent. I think to your point, like it could go either way. With battle royales, it's always interesting to me how long they can keep their audience engaged with just like new skins and things, because it's basically the same game. You know, like a new character or a new gun or something doesn't really do that much. It's the same map.
Yeah.
It has the same issues it always has. So you know, players just get tired of it. Even Fortnite's been going down, and
I have a video I want to share with you I watched the other day called Manufactured Discontent. I think you'd really like it. It's about Fortnite and like skins and engagement and all that stuff. I think you'd really like it.
I think I actually said that. Actually, I would really like to watch that. How long is it? Is it
not long, like 15-20 minutes, I think?
That's right up my alley, yeah.
Yeah. It's really good.
So Twitch has been sued by a Russian internet company for 2.1 billion euros, or about 120 billion rubles, if you're in Russia right now. The company, the Rambler Group, is alleging that Twitch breached its exclusive broadcasting rights of the English Premier League more than 36,000 times between August and November. Quite a bunch. They are seeking to permanently ban Twitch from Russia altogether, while Twitch is stating that their initial claim is unfounded. What's your opinion here? Do you think that the Rambler Group has any case here at all, or is this just a grasp from the Rambler Group to stay relevant and gain
Josh
publicity
has
and money?
An opinion. I can see
Josh
it.
seems to.
I can see it on his face. He's like, I'm ready.
God, like a goddamn cheeky breakish, man.
Of course.
I'm like, what do they hope to gain out of this? Like, what?
Money.
Billions of euros.
They're like paying they're like
2.1 million euros to be exact.
I would assume that they're probably going to make more money from the people using their internet service to watch fucking Twitch, you know, like I don't know. Shut down Twitch. Yeah, good luck. It's like shutting down half of Amazon. You know, like what? Sure. Try it. Go right ahead. Like, this is a good deal for you. Let's spend the money on court fees.
Yeah.
This is one of those. I looked into this Rambler Group a little bit because I don't know. It kind of raised the question to me, like, how accountable is Twitch, I guess, for what people are showing on their streaming service? And apparently, from what they're saying, they're not accountable almost at all for what other people show, and they weren't notified by Rambler Group that this was even happening, and they needed to stop it, but they were trying to stop it apparently. But this Rambler Group, I mean, they're in this specific instance, I think these guys are obviously just out for money, and they have some shady business practices in general. They're tied up in some.
They're Russian, yeah.
Well, yeah, they're tied up in some other case where they're claiming these former employee who designed the most popular like internet serving service or whatever, sold it for $800 million to the US, and then after the fact they're going to go back and say like, oh, this guy used to work for us, so we technically owned this, even though we made it on the side. This is a bad company, and they're doing some shitty practices. Well, but I think it is important. This, how accountable is Twitch?
No, to your point exactly. I think that's what it comes down to, and it's like, how is Twitch supposed to ever be able to account for all of its streamers? And then you have to think like, okay, well, not only do they have to watch all of their streamers all the time, they have to know what country they're streaming in, what the guidelines are, what companies have exclusive rights to certain things in those countries. You're talking about a team of like 1 million people in order to watch all this stuff. It's just not possible. And if that's the precedent, then we can never have a company of this size ever have a service anything like Twitch, because you could never run it.
They have TSAs in place for a reason. I mean, it's up to their people who use the platform to read and understand and know the TSA, they can't be held accountable for what all these people are showing on.
So it's interesting because basically, I mean, obviously every court is going to be different, so you got sued in Russia. hope that the judge is not best buds with whoever's suing you. But generally speaking, the way courts work is that it's about how reasonable is what's expected of you, right? Courts heavily favor what is considered reasonable, especially in civil suits. It's like how reasonable is the expectation? And so Twitch, they have a guideline. This is the rules. If you break the rules and get caught, these are the punishments. It's kind of like saying, it's illegal to steal a candy bar from the store, but like, can the cops always be standing in the store watching you? Is the cop responsible for the fact that you stole the candy bar? According to the courts, no. And the store isn't, and the security company that provided the cameras isn't if you managed to circumvent it or someone just missed it, because that's unreasonable. And like you all have said, Twitch can't. They can't reasonably view it all. If they are notified of this, now it is their legal responsibility to go and do something about it, right? Because that is a reasonable expectation. Hey, this is the link, this is the person breaking the rules. We want you to stop it because, hey, look, we have the rights to it. And then Twitch goes, done. And then they have to have a reasonable amount of time to do the task. If they said, oh, you didn't do it in 15 minutes, the court's not going to listen to that. But if they didn't do it in 3 days, well, that's a different story, right?
Well, and even just the statement from Rambler that 36,000
streams
that had it up in like 3 months, and it's like it wasn't just one person where Twitch could say like, oh yeah, okay, we see this, we can shut it off. It's a ton of people doing it.
Right. Well, obviously doing it. Yeah, and a lot of people doing it like they have like 3 viewers, so like they're not even on the fucking radar. You know what I mean? Like they'd never be on Twitch's radar for them to pick this up.
Right.
Like there's just no fucking way.
Well, and I bet you those people didn't even know. Those people probably didn't know they were even doing anything, right? Because people do that stuff all the time. I mean, when I'm taking a break during a stream, I'm like, someone's brought me food, Emerald's brought me food, and I'm like, okay, between matches, we're gonna take a quick 15-minute break. I pull up like Binging with Babish or something and watch it with my viewers, right? And like, what if Binging with Babish had like exclusive rights in China and one of my viewers was Chinese? You know what I mean? Like, am I screwing Mixer? Is Microsoft go? Exactly. Well, my social credit score, but
yeah.
Like it's
taking a big hit just for coming on this show. You probably just took a huge hit.
Probably. So I just sent out Christmas cards.
I feel bad for the guy that they hired to make him scour Twitch to find 36,000
Oh yeah,
people showing this.
Well, especially on the Russian side of Twitch, nobody goes to the Russian side. You may never come back.
So, speaking of the losing the social credit score, I have to say I sent they're not going to see it. I'm so glad that she won't see this. But one of my friends, I sent a Christmas card to, and I said this whole letter, but at the bottom I said I sent a copy of this to the Chinese government so as to not hurt my social credit score.
Perfect. Good on you. Good on you.
But no, anyway, yeah, I agree. Absolutely. All these like 3 viewer people, they don't even know they're doing anything wrong, and Twitch can't know. They're not going to be on their radar. And I'll bet you, like Wolf said, these people are shady. How much money you want to guess? They were just sitting there watching it going, oh, we're going to sue them. Keep tallying, baby. We're going to sue them.
Yep.
Like this was like they were planning it, not because they actually care about the violation, but because they think they can get tons of money from it.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah, they sound like a bunch of fucking idiots to me.
Do you know what would be really funny if Twitch turns around and like doxes the people doing it, and like, all right, Rambler, like go collect your money. This is who did it.
So, oh God. Yeah, and then it would be like good luck because then they'd have to try to sue those people. Most of those people probably aren't even like in Russia.
You'd never find them. It would be funny. It would suck. I mean, Twitch obviously couldn't dox a bunch of people like that, but
it's against their own privacy policy. But
you'd have to hire Liam Neeson from Taken to track him down. It'd be like the only way.
You need a specific set of skills.
Yeah, you would need very specific. Let's jump down to the last news story here. Kind of a silly one at the end. Ninja will be streaming Fortnite with none other than Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill. This is part of an ongoing promotion that Disney has had with Fortnite. A Rise of Skywalker trailer was released in-game, as well as a Star Wars glider, lightsabers, and TIE fighter crash sites. This crossover promotion will be held on Xbox Sessions on December 19th. And I saw like a little preview. It's like Ninja and Mark Hamill, like both playing Fortnite with like a few other people in the room. just kind of like joking around, palling around. I think that this is pretty cool. I kind of hate the new Star Wars shit. I don't know if we want to get into that or not, but
So
I'm actually surprised that
worms.
I'm surprised that Mark Hamill is advertising this, because in my YouTube recommended, I'm always getting shown videos of Mark Hamill like completely roasting like J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson for his role in the new movies, and I'm just surprised to see him out there. Like,
the strong.
Obviously he doesn't want to be playing Fortnite with fucking Ninja. I mean, come on.
Yeah, so who is this good PR for Ninja or for Mark? Like, who's getting promoted here?
I have no idea. I think it might be bad PR for everybody involved.
I think Ninja's just looking for some more work.
You know what? I will say I think for him, he does get excited about it. It's been interesting watching him ever since his move to Mixer. He is so much happier. And he's happier with less viewers. Like sometimes I stop by his stream just because it's like on the front page. I just take a look. Like the other night he was playing DBD. He has this segment now called Ninja After Dark, where switches his stream to 18 plus only.
Love it.
And he plays a more mature game, and he behaves more mature. He stops like censoring himself. And he's, the chat can be more mature. And he is so happy. Like I was watching him play Dead by Daylight. I haven't seen him play anything other than Fortnite in forever, since like Apex Legends came out, and he was having a blast. And he doesn't have the massive bags under his eyes. He looks like he sleeps, And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and like defend and look after the well-being of some guy who makes millions of dollars and got paid millions by Microsoft, but there's definitely something to be said. So you have to ask, like, is he looking for more work? I think he's just having fun. He was on
I got sick of Fortnite after 2 days. Imagine playing it for 2.5 years.
I know, right? That's ridiculous. He was on True Geordie's podcast recently, and he seemed like they had a really good conversation. I highly recommend the video. Just him talking with them about Mixer and stuff. And yeah, I mean, so I think he loves Mark Hamill because I'd love to play.
I think everybody would like to meet Mark. Yeah.
Right. And he's just having a good time. I think this is better for Disney than it is for either of them. That's what it's really about. Yeah. He's excited to play with Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill is contractually obligated to pretend he cares.
It's always about Disney anymore, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, they own most
everything.
Things.
They like pretty much own planet Earth. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
I don't think Mark Hamill, this is just kind of off topic here, but like, I think of Mark Hamill, and you could probably, he played the voice of Chucky in the new Chucky, whatever, but like, I think Mark Hamill alongside of Luke as one of the best portrayals of the Joker,
absolutely,
in all of pop culture.
Hell yeah, absolutely, 100%.
His laugh is so fucking good. Oh man,
he's very well known for that role. Yeah,
I think it was him. He suffers from a mental condition.
I think from that car accident he was in, or
yeah, exactly. And he says that playing the Joker really helps him, because if he forgets what he's saying or doing in the middle of recording, that's perfectly fine. It's in character. So he just rolls with it. And like it ends up turning out really well. So being in the mind of the Joker for him works really well, because it perfectly fits with his mental issues that he has right now. And it was really interesting. I read that like 5 years ago or something, because I love him too. I agree with you 100%. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. I actually appreciate that. That kind of makes it even better.
Wow, I feel like real warm and fuzzy right now. Like I'm glad to hear that like Ninja's doing so well, and like Mark Hamill's, great guy. Just like
as long as if Ninja's sleeping easy, I can sleep easy. That's like my motto.
Well, I care so much about the man. We're deep, close friends,
Yeah, you're both on Mixer. I get it.
I'm concerned about his well-being. I mean, one time, him and I were physically on the website at the same time. It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's a special bond.
Maybe you'll get a host one day.
Maybe. Well, you know what? Okay, no lie. There was a guy, I'm not gonna name any names, but there was a guy that like I had never heard of, and honestly, he was kind of ridiculous. Not a bad guy, just kind of like his overlay was just like, I couldn't help but just feel like, what am I looking at? And Ninja hosted him one. And now everybody knows who he is, and other partners have like met up with him. He wasn't even a partner, he was just some guy. But like that literally took him from no one to someone.
Yeah.
It's kind of insane. Because like
Well, Doc tweeted at us, so I think that we're pretty much
There you
ingrained
go.
into
We're
the
feeling
gaming
the effects
culture.
of that
Yeah,
right now.
I'll have you know that Chris Covent follows me on Twitter.
Who's that?
Chris Covent's a pretty big Mixer partner. He's been around for a while.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know who it was.
Yeah,
Who's
yeah.
that?
Who's
I didn't know who it was.
Who's that? It's not Doc.
It's not the 2-time, that's for sure.
I'm not honestly. I gotta be honest, Kev. I've probably been to Mixer the most being on your stream. Like I am never on Mixer. Like if I'm on Mixer, I'm pretty much watching you play games.
I really don't blame anyone for that, honestly. You know, I moved to Mixer for my own reasons that I've explained in a video on my channel, so I really don't need to go into that. You know, you really care, watch that. But it's I have been happier over there. I like the platform, and I don't know, man. The culture is so much less toxic. I don't think I've met a single toxic person on the platform. I'm sure they exist. But the worst I've had is just like people that weren't very good at interacting. Obviously, there's more younger fans there to a degree. I find that I interact with younger people more, but honestly, that's okay because the culture is so much friendlier. Everyone's not out to. It doesn't feel like everyone's out. Like you go and you make friends on Twitch, and 90% of the time they're completely just fake networking. Like they're networking. I'm trying to build real connections.
You can tell like right off the bat. Yeah, it takes you 15 seconds, and you're like, okay, this is totally fucking
like,
fake.
you don't actually care, but like I go raid someone after a stream on Mixer, right? And I just bring a few people over, and they're playing the same game I was. So I say, hey, how you doing? I was playing this, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, hey yeah, for a bit. And they're like, hey, did you want to jump in? Like I got room in the party, and I'm like, oh no, I'm going to bed. And then they're like, well, add me. Well, let's play next time. And I've legitimately had people who offline just started playing with me because I rated them one. Right. I held so like Chris Covent, like I said, he was having internet troubles once, and I just messaged him and I said, yo, I hear you're having internet troubles. And he's like, yeah. And I spent like a day helping him with his internet. Like, and he like that's the thing though, is like these people actually respond.
Who's that? Chris Covent.
Right, who's that? No, but there's like quite a few partners that like they just talk to you. Like they're not like, I'm a partner, so I'm really better than you.
How is the partner revenue deal? Is it similar to Twitch? I mean, do they do well?
It's significantly better.
It's better?
Way better.
Oh, that's great.
I think it's like 72% towards the streamer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It probably has to be better though, because like Twitch is already so established, they have to have some incentive to get streamers to go there, right?
Well, it's that, and also here's the thing about Microsoft that a lot of people don't know. Microsoft has near infinite money. 90% of their ventures do not make a profit. They don't. But people underestimate exactly how much money they make from Windows. Nobody in any capacity that isn't super niche or a programming or cybersecurity company doesn't use Windows. Every company, the entire government, everyone uses Windows, and you're paying like $100 a license. And
even just like Microsoft, even just like the Microsoft Works package alone.
Yep.
You know, like leave the OS out of it. Like everybody uses Word and Excel. I mean, everybody. I mean, like Google Docs now, like is a competitor to that, but I mean, everybody has it downloaded. No,
everybody uses it. They make so much bank off of Windows, Word, and their cloud services that it is absolutely insane. And they just won $10 billion in cloud services from the government, which Amazon is trying to sue over because they think they should have got a piece of that pie.
I think Rambler thinks that they should have gotten most of
that. Yeah, the owner of Rambler had a dream about cloud services one time. He's claiming that.
But no, they do. And so like Xbox has always been run at a negative, but they understand that the level of influence, they care more about keeping themselves in the game. They're fine as long as they get to as close to breaking even as physically possible, because they get so much money from everywhere else, and nobody is ever they're not even trying to compete really, you know, with Windows. So the thing about Mixer is they bought it as sort of a whim venture. It went back when it was Beam. And their thought was, what if we integrate this directly with the Xbox and make it easier to stream? And it really is. I mean, streaming, you plug a webcam in, you can have a webcam. There's a website you can use to create overlays through the Xbox called Lightstream, and you can get the same experience as what I do on my computer, but just off of your Xbox. That's such a low tier of entry. And it's just right there. It's right on your Xbox. You log in, it's a tab, it's there, go watch Mixer. And that was sort of their venture. And their goal was never to be Twitch. Their goal was to be something else. And they don't need to make money the way Twitch needed to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Big Daddy Amazon doesn't invest in Twitch to the degree that everyone thinks they do. Everyone always goes, oh, Amazon's so big, they're going to do this, they're going to back up Twitch. Not really. They own it. There's a degree of involvement. You usually see that money in the form of the like loot that you get for being a Prime person, right? A lot of the Prime benefits is thanks to Amazon, but the vast majority isn't sort of pumped directly in there from Amazon. They really
Amazon's always creating so many new ventures. I could see them just burning through capital just to get into new markets, and it's always like these huge markets too that probably take a lot of capital to get into.
Yeah, well, and the company is heavily fragmented due to antitrust laws. You know, like Amazon Web Services has its own CEO. It's a separate company because it has to be legally because Amazon uses Amazon Web Services.
I always wonder how they are able to dominate large sectors like that and not get broken up. But if they're split like that, okay, that makes sense.
They actually are. You just don't realize it because they're still technically part of the group, but they don't answer to each other.
All right. Well, hey, let's wrap the show there. Great episode 42. It was very enjoyable. Kevin, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Looking forward to having you on every week. I think it was a lot of fun.
I enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you guys, as always. You know, if you listen to this show and you really like it, consider supporting us on patreon.com/Arcadian Media. It really, really helps us out. The other way to support us is to leave us a 5-star iTunes review. It really goes a long way. I'm not joking. It is a big deal. Other than that, really hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a great holiday season, nice Christmas, and we will hopefully see you next week.